Wager Me This. This is going to be Wednesdays with Wager, my NFL show, week number 5. As you can see, we're in the account here. Got bets going. A bunch of bets today. Little baseball bets, football bets, different things got going on. But we're here to talk about this week, which is week 5 of the NFL. Interesting week, a lot of good matchups. There's a London game, which we're going to be talking about in depth a little bit because the situational aspect of it. Okay, my delay is pretty good. Hopefully I get some people watching this one. What's up, Skill? I know there's a lot of other people streaming right now because of the big Vegas meetups and all that. So people will probably rewatch my stuff, which is fine. I don't have a problem with that. Let's just get right into Thursday. Last week, my best bet won again. It was the over for the Eagles and Tampa. It made it. Honestly, I can't remember all the bets I make every week with you guys. I just keep track of the best bet because that's what this is about, the show. If you're following my best bets, I'm 3-0-1 throughout the weeks. We had one tie week 1 with Denver, -8. All right, so here we go. Let's talk about the Rams and the 49ers. First of all, this line started at 3.5, and has went all the way up to 8 or 8.5 in some spots. That's a crazy move. Part of it is that Purdy's out. I don't know how much that matters. At 8, it's too big to bet. We're not going to bet a divisional game -8 on a Thursday. It just doesn't make any sense to do that. So what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to look at is we're going to look at what do we get at the half. That's one of the things when these lines are too big, a lot of times I look to, okay, what am I getting at the half? Go over here, first half. So we're getting -4.5, which is way more reasonable. Still not a bet we like. But right here is a bet we do like. And this is LA Rams over 13.5 points in the first half. So we're going to put a little money on that. Obviously, guys, I've looked all this up before I made the video. I'm not doing this like, just random willy-nilly right here. So that's one of the bets I really like in this one. The other thing is I just think we should just tease this game. You want some action on Thursday night. I think you hit the Rams and the under. Guys, I like the under here as my teaser. Now, you can do the teaser, but you're going to get bad juice. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the Rams down to the 2.5. And then I'm going to take the under. I actually like the under at just 40. Or, at just 50. Well, if it's not going to act right, come on, stupid thing. I don't think you're going to get much in the way of why do I like the first half bet? Because it's likely that the 49ers aren't going to do much with the ball, and we're going to see a lot of extra possessions for the Rams. On top of that, the Rams are the better team pretty significantly, and the 49ers are really beat up. It's just a good spot to be in. So we're going to get 127 here. It's not great, but it's better than what you're going to get on the teaser. But I'm not 100% sure about that, so let's just look. All right. I do think it is better than the teaser, though. So let's take these two games and hook them up. See what we get on the teaser. I could be wrong on this one. It doesn't always work out. How come it's not offering me a teaser? Interesting. Did I miss that a little bit? There it is. It's what it is. I missed that. Okay. Now it's offering my 6-point teaser. My stupid dog wants in, but I'm busy. All right, so we're getting -150 there. So that's pretty bad, right? We're not going to take the 150 odds. That's too bad. That's way crappy as far as the odds go. So we're going to move this, like I said. You could just take it to the 3. I actually like the 3 too. You don't want to go to the 2.5. And then the under 50. So let's see what we get here. This is going to be pretty good. All right, minus 122. We'll take it. I like that better, obviously, than the minus 150. All right, I'm not a huge fan of this bet, so we're just going to go $15 on it. It's not my favorite bet, but I don't want to lay 8. But I know people like to have action on these Thursday games, and if I put some action on it, that's where I'm at with it. Did I just not get that bet in? Hold on, let's look at this. No, it gave me that bet. Okay, cool. Sometimes it acts funny when it does an odds change. How do I know where to move that to? Okay, skill. So there's football numbers, right? There's specific football numbers like 3, 7, 6, 4. So I'm moving that to a spot where it lands on a football number, or it's just under a football number. And the reason I do that is because that's the most likely outcomes, and that's where we want to be at. We want to be under those most likely outcomes, or on the right side of those most likely outcomes. All right, so 2 other bets in this game that I saw that I liked. All right, let's go to the first one. It's a defensive play, defensive props, and it's Fred Warner over 8.5 tackles. And I know this is juiced up, but I feel like you can pair this with anything in this game, and it's okay. I think the defense for the 49ers is going on the field a lot. And so with them on the field all the time, I actually think this 8.5 tackles for Fred Warner is going to be a pretty easy bet. So let's go over here and let's just see if it'll let us pair it with the Rams. It won't. Okay. If you just want to make that bet by itself, it's okay. I don't really like laying juice like that. I was hoping it would let me pair it, but it's not letting me pair it. But I do like that bet as far as just what I think it's a highly probable bet. All right. So we're going to put $15 on it. Again, I know these aren't big bets, guys, but I don't really like this game very much. But I know you guys like these Thursday games. Guys, here's what's crazy about this is I think the Rams are going to cover this 8. But from a betting standpoint, that's too much line. We've lost too much line value. If we were going to bet the Rams minus the spread, we should have bet them at -3 or 3.5 or 4 or 4.5 before the spread moved. And now that's kind of just the issue because this game is on a Wednesday or a Thursday. So when I'm making this video on a Wednesday, we should have bet this on Monday or Tuesday. And again, with these kind of shows, you're not really able to do that. You just have to deal with what it is. And for kind of an interesting bet in this one that I really, really think is going to happen is this touchdown scorer bet. All right, we're going to go to the Rams touchdown scores. And on my site, I don't have a defensive touchdown, right? So anywhere you look at, you're not going to see Rams defense, all right? For whatever reason, this site doesn't. What they do is any other Rams player. So I'm going to get 24-1 for a touchdown with any other Rams player, and I like this bet a lot because I think that the 49ers are going to turn the ball over some. The Rams defensive line is really good, and I think they're going to cause some fumbles, going to cause some interceptions. So I think there's a pretty good chance that the Rams score a defensive touchdown in this game. And also, at 24-1, it's worth a little bet, right? Like we can put a $10 bet on here, and we're getting it at, we're going to get $250 back if this hits. So for $10, we can win $250 here. Well, it's really $240, but just for a Rams defensive special teams type touchdown, right? So I like that as well. I actually think that that's we're going to have a few chances at that. I think there's going to be some fumbles. There could be a fumble in the end zone, kick return, anything like that is going to work, right? The only problem with my style of bet is that if one of these guys up here is the kick returner, like Tutu Atwell, and he runs the ball back, I don't get the money on that. So I really got to have a defensive player to work that. So on your guys' sites, like on DraftKings or FanDuel, they actually have defensive special teams touchdowns. For whatever reason, my site doesn't offer that. And again, a lot of sites are all different. You know, they all do their own kind of things. You don't, it's not all the same. So it's not unusual for one site to have something that another site doesn't. But that's what I like in this game, guys. I don't think that the 49ers can keep up. They're going to have Mac Jones, their best pass rushers out, their best receivers out, their tight end, he's banged up or out. Brock Purdy's out. Defensive players are out. The 49ers are so beat up, and this is in the Rams, and the Rams are a very good football team. So this is going to be probably a blowout. And that's why I like the under. I don't think we're going to get a lot out of the 49ers. All right, so let's move on to the Sunday games. All right, Sunday games. Let's see what we got. All right, so this is the London game. The Minnesota Vikings versus Cleveland is the London game. All right, if you see this is at 8:30 a.m. Central Time. What we're going to get there then, being that it's at 8:30 a.m., is the Browns are traveling over there. But remember, the Vikings played in Dublin. So all they had to do was jump over the little water there. They're already on European time. So I actually think this is a really easy Vikings play. Also, the Browns are starting a rookie quarterback, and I don't think that bodes well for them either. So what we're going to do here is I like this 3.5. I'm going to lay this 3.5. You're getting 109 on my site. That's pretty good juice. You're not having to pay a ton to play this. But I like this Rams minus, or not Rams, I keep saying Rams, Vikings minus 3.5. Again, this isn't a true home game for the Browns. This is in London. So the Browns are not at home in London. And the Vikings essentially are at home because they didn't have to fly back overseas. So they're already on that time. That's going to bode well for the Vikings. This is actually a really weird spot that the NFL kind of did by letting the Vikings stay over there. It just really helps the Vikings out. It almost guarantees them a win. I know that sounds crazy, but it's really the truth because they're not going to have to adjust to any of that. They're not going to have jet lag. They're not going to have none of that, where the Browns will. It's just an interesting spot that I thought was very odd. And we're going to try to take advantage of it. I like that play. It's not my best bet, but I do like it. The next thing I want to talk about is teasers this week. So if you look at these games, the Rams, the Ravens, if you want to do it, I'm not going to do it. But the Rams, the Colts, the Giants fit it too, but I don't like that as much. The Cardinals and the Bills. Okay, so the Bills are the Sunday night game. So this puts us in a unique spot with teasers. Okay, so we can play two-team teasers, and we can attach the Bills to every one of them. And what this allows us to do is on Sunday night, we can come back on the Patriots and get this 8. And so we can have a window there where we can win both bets and we can kind of hedge it. And so all our teasers will be in except for the Bills. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to show you the teasers that I like. We're going to play them. All right, so I like Denver and Arizona paired up. So Denver and Arizona. All right, we're going to pair them up. But we're going to add the Bills to it. And the reason is because we're going to, oh, there it is. We're going to be able to come back. So normally we would only do a 2-team teaser. But in this case, we can add the Bills to every one of these. And we can come back on Sunday night. And because we're getting plus money here, we can adjust on that New England side with that plus 8. And we're going to be in a really good spot. All right, so let's do this. Okay. So we bet the first one. And so you're going to attach the Bills to all of these with the intent that you're coming back on Sunday night on the New England side. That's the idea behind this. If you're not going to do that, then don't attach the Bills to all these. But you should still play Bills in some teasers because they fit Wong teaser spot. They're at home. They're the far better team. What's up, Craps Master Journey? and it's just a good spot to be in. All right, so the next one we're going to do is Indianapolis, wherever they're at. There they are. We like them at home versus the Raiders. That's a turnover machine. All they're gonna need to do is win. And the Rams. We like them with the Rams. And then we're gonna put the Bills on there again. And again, guys, this is the idea behind this is that we're allowing ourselves a hedge spot. And because the Bills are in such a good spot, they're the far better team on a Sunday night where you're going to have time to bet it. And now you're getting plus money on the 3 pick here and you're hedging it. So you're only, you're getting the points plus money. And then you're going to be able to come back on New England trying to hit a middle. Now, will we hit our middle? I don't know, but we'll have the ability to do it. And sometimes these work out this way. So this is a very interesting this is like a strategy in sports betting a little bit. Like this is a way you can take advantage of stuff that you wouldn't normally get. All right, so as you can see our 2 teasers there, we'll try to take advantage of that spot that Vegas is allowing us to be in, right? So I like that a lot. And there's other teaser plays, but any teaser, 2-team teaser you're playing this week, you should attach the Bills to it. And then on Sunday night, decide how much you want to hedge out on New England. You could also just play New England's money line, but I think the play is the +8 because you can middle it. You could actually win both bets. And on Sunday, maybe I'll come on here and I'll make the bets so you guys can see them. Maybe not because I'm going to work some overtime at my job. So it just depends on if I do it before I go. All right, and here we go. This is going to be my best bet of the week. Again, we're going to go to a total. I think this team's totals have been underrepresented, and that's Miami. This over 44.5 versus Carolina. When you look at these 2 teams, both of them have A, given up a lot of points, and B, they've actually scored some points. So against each other, they have, let's say, less than stellar defenses, as well as they'll be able to score on each other. I actually think this is way too low. I think they should be way closer to 50. And by that, I mean like way closer to 50. To the point where I think this is really low. Almost to where I almost want to move the line myself and get plus money. But on here, we're going to just put it in there. We'll jump on there. Make our bet. All right. And that is what I have for this week. If anyone has any questions, I know I only have 3 people in here, but I know that's because Bluff and AZ, all these people are live right now, and I don't have any problem with that. You can watch this show later for all I care. I just like doing it live. That way people can actually, the transparency is there with me making the bets, and that's what I like in this case, right? That's what I'm looking at here, is that transparency. So, again, I'll talk about all the games really quick, just go through them. I like the Rams in this one. I do think they'll cover the 8, but I don't think it's worth a bet because I think that line's moved too much. Minnesota and Cleveland, I love the Minnesota side. They have all the advantages of staying over there and not having come back. Just all the advantages are on the Minnesota side. Cowboys and Jets, I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think the Cowboys can stop anyone, and I don't think the Jets can stop the Cowboys. So if I was going to play this game, I would be looking at the over 47. I actually think that's a pretty good play. It didn't make my final. But if I was going to do a 10-point teaser, a 3-team 10-point teaser, that would be in it, down to 37. I think that's a pretty good bet. As far as the next game, the Broncos and the Eagles, this is a really popular game with the sharp better, as people call them. A lot of people like the Broncos here, +4. I try to stay away from that because I'm a Broncos fan. Does it make sense? Yes, but it's at the Eagles, and the Broncos are coming off what they feel like is a big win for them. As effectively their offense kind of turned up. To me, if I was going to look at this game, I'd actually look at the over 43 and a half. I know the Eagles and the Broncos have reasonably good defenses, but I think both of these teams probably get to the 20s, which makes that more logical to me. I know a lot of people are going that +4 on the road. I don't know. I'm not buying that yet, but again, I'm a Broncos fan and I don't want to get out there in my heart. You know what I mean? All right, Baltimore Ravens and Houston Texans. Now this one's tricky, right? Because most likely Lamar's not playing, but Houston's terrible. If I was going to bet this game, I for sure 100% would bet that Derrick Henry runs all over Houston and that Baltimore wins. There's also a little bit of the injured player theory here with Baltimore. I don't know if you know what that is. If you don't, just look it up. Injured player theory with Lamar being out. I think Baltimore rolls the Texans there, but with the big injuries, it's hard to bet on it. Raiders Colts. I love the Colts in this spot. They're at home, coming off kind of a crushing loss. I think they take it out on the Raiders there. But the better play there is to tease that. That's the better play. Also, Geno Smith interceptions in that one is a good play. Like I already said, the Dolphins, Carolina, the over 44 and a half is my favorite play of the week. So that's where we're at on that one. As far as the Giants and the Saints, this is another one that a lot of the sharp bettors, the people that think they really know what they're doing, has talked. But they think that the Saints are going to win this game. I have no idea. I think both of these teams are pretty bad. I don't trust either of them. I would stay all the way from that game. I just don't like it at all. If anything, I would be looking at the under, and that total's really low. But I would be looking to go under that even then. I just don't like nothing about either of that. I don't like that game in any way. The Giants, I feel like, have a little bit of value on their teaser because you're going to get it over the 7. So they might be something you'd put in a teaser. If you're doing a 10-point, they make a lot of sense. Buccaneers and Seahawks, guys, this is a Florida team going all the way to Seattle. Tampa's going to struggle on the long trip. You still have the Baker Mayfield effect. He's going to keep them in the game. But guys, the Seahawks are a pretty good football team. Seahawks are probably going to win that game. I don't know about the 3.5. Baker tends to keep games close. The total is tricky. I feel like it's right about right. So if you're playing that game, I feel like the play is to pair the Seahawks in some kind of money line parlay. If you're going to take the spread with the Buccaneers, I don't know. The 3.5 is better than laying the 3.5, but I don't know. I stay away from that one. I think it's going to be a really good football game. One of the best games of the week. Arizona's going to roll the Titans. The Titans have all kinds of problems. Their new quarterback, he's calling them out already, telling them that they suck and all that. They got a lot of problems there. It's in Arizona. Laying 7.5 don't sound so intriguing, but it is a great teaser spot. So that's where I'd be at with that one. If you're going to play Arizona, I'd tease them. Detroit Lions and the Bengals, guys, we've seen the Bengals. They can't move the football. I just don't like laying double digits in the NFL, not because the Lions can't cover it, but why do they care if they cover it? If they're up 7 late in the game and they just kneel on it. I mean, they don't care if they cover the spread. So I don't like to lay big point spreads on the road, especially. Do I think the Lions are going to dominate them? I do. If I was going to take anything in that game, I would be looking toward the props for Gibbs, the props for St. Brown, those Jameson Williams props. They're all probably going to score in that game. So you could put a couple touchdown props in there. You're going to probably get a lot of good results there. Chargers and Commanders. This is another game where a lot of these wise guys, sharp bettors like the Commanders on the road here. East Coast to West Coast. Chargers are a pretty good football team. They just kind of got embarrassed. I'm not buying the Commanders in this spot. even with all the Chargers injuries. I'm not buying them. I'm also not buying the Chargers because of all those injuries. So if I was playing this game, I'm looking at it like Justin Herbert's going to throw 2 touchdown passes in it, and that's what I would bet in this game. And closer to I can't bet player props besides Thursday right now. They're just not out yet. So, but all on the Chargers game, I'll be on Justin Herbert to throw 2 touchdown passes over 1.5. I think that's the best bet in that game. And then obviously Sunday night, we like the Bills, but I don't really like the Bills -8. The Patriots defense and running game is solid, and the Bills don't stop the run very well. I do think the Bills win. I actually think it stays within the 8. If you were just picking a side, I would take them 8, but I think the teaser makes way more sense on the Bills side. Teasing on the Patriots side isn't terrible. You're getting it up to 14. It's not a terrible play. But teasing on the Bills side, you're getting the better team at home, better quarterback. I don't know if it's a better coach or not, but better running back. Not necessarily better defense, but probably equal defenses. But that sets up to give you that spot to, play the game both ways. On Sunday night, you can watch it risk free. You can have the Patriots and the Bills, So as long as the Bills don't win by 1 in that game or something, you'd be fine, right? You're going to win both bets, kind of type of thing. But I think that'll middle. We're going to try to middle it. I'm going to try to show you guys how that's done. And then on the Monday night, Chiefs and Jaguars. A lot of people like the Jaguars in this spot. I don't think the Jaguars will be able to move the ball on the Chiefs. I don't think anyone on the Chiefs is anywhere worried about any player on the Jaguars. Plus, in recent years, when the Chiefs go down to Jacksonville, it's been a bloodbath. I think it's the same. I don't care that the Chiefs had a good offensive output against Baltimore, who fielding right now the worst defense in the NFL. Do I think they're going to be good on offense with Worthy back? Yes. Do I think Jacksonville poses much of a threat? No. I'm not laying 3.5 on the road, though. I'm pairing the Chiefs with some money line stuff. Taking the Chiefs, Mahomes to throw 2 touchdown passes because that's what they've been doing. They really haven't been running the ball. They've been throwing it. So that's a pretty good bet in that one. That's where I'm at on those. Anyways, guys, hopefully you guys like the show. The best bets have been killing it. So if you've been just playing my best bets, you actually have not lost, which is a really good thing. My bet, I haven't lost on my best bets either. So that's a really good thing. But today, again, the best bet, Miami, Carolina, over 44.5. Again, I don't think either defense is going to stop either offense much. Plus, I think we're going to get some turnovers in that game, and turnovers always help points, guys. Unless they're in the end zone, turnovers tend to help points. They usually set up scores. So keep that in mind. Again, another good play. This one could have made the best bet is the Minnesota -3.5. They got all the advantages over there in London because they were already in Europe. Cleveland's a bad Cleveland team, bringing a rookie quarterback over there. I don't think they're going to have much for that Vikings defense. That's going to probably be pretty ugly. Gabriel's probably not going to make the whole game. We'll probably see Shadur Sanders in that game too. But I think the Vikings roll that one. I think 3.5 is pretty low. I know Carson Wentz is probably going to struggle against the Cleveland Browns defense as well. That's why that total is 36. But I don't know what you're going to get out of Gabriel. I like the Vikings -3.5. I think it's a good play. And then, like I said, the teaser stuff with adding the Bills. I think there's a ton of good teaser spots. You put the Bills in there, you're going to get good results. Again, we're going to come back on Sunday on the Patriots side with the +8. Maybe by then it's up to +9 even. 8.5, we're going to get a little advantage. Try to catch it both ways. Try to middle it. And that's what we're going to be at here, guys. Thank you for your time. This is